Chapter number 2. Natural Resources, Land, Soil and Water. We have read about the natural resources in the previous chapter. Land, soil and water are important natural resources for all forms of life on the earth. Land. Land is the most basic resource because we live on it. It covers about 30% of the total surface area of the earth. We satisfy 95% of our needs for food, clothing and shelter from land. However, all the land is not suitable for human habitation. About 90% of the world's population lives in only 30% of its land area. Due to harsh climatic conditions or unfriendly relief features, the remaining land is either very thinly populated or uninhabited. Land use. Land is used for different purposes such as cultivation of crops, grazing animals, mining, construction of roads, houses and other buildings, and setting up of industries. Such utilization of land is called land use, which depends upon different physical, economic and human factors. Some of these factors are soil, land tenure, climate and technical knowledge of the people. The interaction of these factors has evolved many types of land uses. Comparative land use in the world. Developed countries of the West are getting much more out of the land in comparison to the people of Asia and Africa because they have the best available technology to put land to the best possible use. In some Asian and African countries, increasing urbanization, high density of population, cutting of mountains for mining, clearing of forests, excessive irrigation, use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides are decreasing the productivity of land. We know that land is uneven everywhere. Therefore, we can divide it into three categories: mountains, plateaus and plains. After understanding the features of these resources, sensible use of land can be made. Mountains. High altitude regions on the surface of the earth are called mountains. All major continents have splendid mountain ranges. Mountains of the world have some of the most useful forests. These forests are homes to a variety of wildlife and they provide some very useful products such as spices and medicinal herbs. They are the sources of many perennial rivers. These rivers provide us with fresh water and also help in the formation of soil. These rivers are continuously fed by the melting snow from the mountain peaks. Plateaus. Raised tablelands are called plateaus. Although they are high, they are flat on top. 45% of the surface of the earth is covered by plateaus. These are storehouses of minerals. Mining activities and related industries are most common in these areas. Agricultural activities are possible in the low plateaus. Many of the high plateaus are either deserts or suitable for cattle grazing only. Plains. Low altitude fertile regions are called plains. These are very good for human habitation as they are very big and flat. They have the benefit of rich alluvial soil brought by the rivers. Most of the agricultural activities are carried out in the plains. These have easily available means of communication, transport, cheap labor and sufficient raw materials. Owing to all these features, nearly 2/3 of the world population lives over here. Conservation of land resources. We are aware that the total area of land available on the surface of the earth is limited, while the population is continuously increasing. The ever-growing demands for housing and food have resulted in large-scale destruction of arable land and forest cover. We need to conserve our land resources for our future generations. This can be done through conserving soil and forests, adopting scientific techniques, regulated and judicious use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, checking desertification, afforestation and land reclamation, checking overgrazing, providing better irrigation facilities. Landslide, the form of mass movement which displaces material like rocks and debris on the earth in a hilly region, is known as landslide. Landslides often occur with natural calamities like earthquakes, floods and volcanic eruptions. A heavy rainfall can cause heavy landslide and can block the flow of a river. It affects life, property and requires a serious concern. Mitigation mechanism. We can understand the mechanism of landslide with the help of various advanced scientific techniques and thus find a way to manage them. Some such techniques are as follows. Construction of retention walls to stop land from slipping. Afforestation to stop landslides. Drainage control works to control the movement of land with rainwater. Soil. The thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. It is formed because of the wear and tear of the rocks. Fine vegetables and animal remains called humus increase the fertility of the soil. Soil formation. The process of soil formation is very slow. It takes thousands of years to form a very thin layer of 2 to 3 centimeters. Soil is formed under specific natural conditions. The quality of soil differs from region to region. It differs in color, texture and fertility. The major factors that contribute to the formation of soil are nature of the parent rock and climatic factors. But other factors too play an important role and they are as follows. Climatic conditions. They play a crucial role in soil formation. Distribution of rainfall and seasonal temperature decide the effectiveness of weathering of rocks and humus formation. Parent rock material. The original rock from which the soil is formed is called the parent rock. It determines the color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content and permeability of the soil. Relief features. The attitude and nature of the slope decides the rate of weathering and drainage of water. On a steep slope, the weathered rock particles cannot get deposited. However, on flat lands and gentle slopes, soil gets accumulated easily. Humus. It is the dead remains of plants and animals. It provides organic matter to the soil and thus makes it fertile. Time period. It is a very big factor in the soil formation. The layers of older soils are found deeper than the newly formed ones. The soil of any place takes a longer duration to develop a distinct soil profile. Hence, time determines the thickness of soil profile. Soil profile. Soil develops in horizontal layers. If we cut vertically into the earth, the different layers become visible. A soil profile is a sample taken from the surface down through the soil. The horizontal layers of soil are called soil horizons. Topsoil, horizon A. It is the topmost layer of the soil. This layer is rich in humus and contains rotten plants and animals. Subsoil, horizon B. Subsoil is found below the topsoil. It is made of silt, clay, sand and some nutrients such as soluble minerals and iron oxides. Rainwater which seeps into the surface of the earth collects in this layer. Rock fragments, horizon C. This layer lies in between the subsoil and the parent bedrock. It consists of weathered rocks. Bedrock, horizon D. This is the last layer in the soil profile. It is the parent rock. It is a solid layer of unweathered rock. Soils of India. India is primarily an agricultural country. It has a variety of climates, relief features and rock structures. Due to all these features, different types of soils are found in India. Alluvial soil. It is the most widespread soil in India. It is found in the northern plains, coastal plains and deltas of various rivers. This soil is formed due to the deposition of sediments by the rivers. It is very fertile. Black soil. It is formed from dark igneous rocks. It is found in the northwestern part of the Deccan Plateau. It is made up of fine clayey material and can hold moisture. Black soil is locally called regar. It is best suited for the cultivation of cotton and sugarcane. Red soil. The red soil is found in the southern and eastern parts of peninsular India. The red color of the soil is due to high iron content. It is not very fertile. This soil can be made fertile by regular use of organic and chemical fertilizers. Laterite soil. It is formed in areas of heavy rainfall like northeast India, the Western Ghats and Chota Nagpur Plateau. In these areas, the soil undergoes a process called leaching by which essential nutrients, salts and minerals drain out from the soil because of heavy rains. Therefore, laterite soil is poor in fertility. Such soil can only support pastures and shrubs. Mountain soil. It is mainly found on the hill slopes covered with forests. This soil is rich in humus as it is formed due to the deposition of the organic matter. It is suitable for tea, coffee, fruits and spice cultivation. Desert soil. It is found in hot and semi-arid regions. It has a thick layer of sand. It is found in Rajasthan and requires regular irrigation. This soil is very porous and cannot hold water. A variety of crops can be grown in this soil with the help of irrigation. Depletion of soil fertility. The cultivation of crops depends upon the soil fertility. The removal of topsoil is called soil erosion. Due to erosion, the soil loses its fertility. Soil erosion is mainly caused by running water and wind. Deforestation, overgrazing, overutilization of land and adoption of unscientific farming methods also cause depletion of soil fertility. Wonderful to know! Just 1 gram of soil contains 5,000 to 7,000 different species of bacteria. Soil holds 3,750 tons of waters per hectare. This reduces the risk of floods. Soil conservation. The protection of soil from physical as well as chemical deterioration is called soil conservation. It includes all those measures that can protect the soil from erosion and fertility exhaustion. Farmers across the world use different methods to conserve soil and to derive optimum benefits. Some methods are given below. Afforestation. It is the most effective method to conserve soil. More and more trees, shrubs and grasses should be planted and reckless cutting down of forests should be stopped. Checking overgrazing. Overgrazing by animals should be checked as the land becomes exposed to rain should be grown as a crop. Crop rotation. The cultivation of different crops on the same piece of land each year during different times is called crop rotation. This practice adds nutrients to the soil and helps in pest control. Contour plowing. In this method, the farmer plows parallel to the contour of a hill slope to form natural barrier for water to flow down from the slope. Terrace farming. It is very effective in conserving soil in mountainous regions. In this method, the hill slopes are cut into terraces to create flat areas to grow crops. This method reduces the speed of flowing rainwater. Strip cropping. It is the method in which cover crops such as small grains and grasses are planted alternatively with cultivated crops in narrow strips. These cover crops absorb the moisture and hold the surface soil together. Cover cropping. In areas such as orchards and plantations, cover crops are planted between the young trees to check soil erosion. Leguminous crops are often used as they add nitrogen to the soil. Planting shelter belts. In dry areas where wind erosion is common, rows of trees and shrubs are planted to reduce the speed of wind to protect the soil. These rows are called shelter belts. Rock dams. Rocks are piled up to check the flow of water and prevent soil loss by floods. Soil erosion and the following fertility loss is a serious problem in developing countries like India. The methods for conservation of soil should be planned on scientific lines, while fertility of soil can be regained by intensive manuring using chemical fertilizers and crop rotation. Water. Water is an essential renewable natural resource. About 70% of the total surface area of the earth is covered with water. Therefore, it is often called the watery planet or blue planet. About 97% of the water is found in oceans and seas. It is saline and not fit for domestic, agricultural and industrial usage. Fresh water accounts for only about 3%. About two-thirds of this fresh water remains frozen in the glaciers and ice caps. Only a small amount of Earth's water, that is 1%, is available and fit for human use. It is found as surface water in water bodies like rivers, lakes, ponds and streams, as groundwater and as water vapor in the atmosphere. Therefore, fresh water is the most precious thing on the earth. The quantity of water is fixed on the earth. It remains in motion through water cycle. Rain is the main source of fresh water. It gathers as fresh water in rivers, lakes and ponds. Scarcity of water. Ever-increasing population. Rising demands for food. Increasing urbanization and rising living standards have created problem of water scarcity in many regions of the world. Most of the countries of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, Western USA, Australia and parts of South America are facing shortage of fresh water supply. It is estimated that by 2025, 65 countries of the world, including India, Korea, Nigeria, Peru and Poland, will face shortage of water in the near future. The existing resources of fresh water are either drying up or getting polluted. The distribution of fresh water is highly uneven in the world. This is only because of the differences in climatic conditions. Water resources in India. India gets plenty of rainfall during the monsoon season, but it is not evenly distributed. Some parts get flooded while other parts suffer from drought. India is an agricultural country. It requires a continuous supply of fresh water to irrigate the farmlands. After independence, the government of India undertook different multipurpose projects like Bhakra Nangal Dam on river Satluj to make water easily available for farming and other related activities. These multipurpose projects are called temples of modern India because they serve many purposes at the same time, like irrigation, controlling flood, generating electricity, breeding fish, and creating recreational facilities. Wonderful to know, the father of medicine, Hippocrates, told people to boil water and strain it before drinking it. Conservation of water resources. Increase in population results in water scarcity due to greater demand. If urgent steps are not taken to conserve water, most countries of the world, especially India, will face acute shortage of water. Some of the measures that can be taken for water conservation are plantation of trees and other vegetation to check runoff and let rainwater seep underground. Water harvesting should be done in both urban and rural areas to store rainwater. Effluents should be treated before they are drained into water bodies. Sprinkler irrigation and drip irrigation should be promoted. In dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. This valuable resource can be conserved by plant utilization and protecting the available water sources from pollution. It is very important that we make the best of what is available to us in an economical manner.
Thank you.